Combs. Give us your name and address, please. You have 5 minutes.
Sure. Good evening, yes, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Linda Fife. I live at 3691 Plymouth Drive, Community of Traditions. I sit on the Regional Community Council, which represents 16 of the communities, including Lake Ashton and Lake Hart, Verandas, and the other surrounding communities that are impacted by this. I do want to say that we were happy with the lack of development from the earlier corporation. As Latigo has petitioned for the changes in the amendments here, we've had communications with them. They've responded in a positive manner, and I think they're listening to the community. So our concerns, certainly remain, as you had in the first reading. Once again, the number of students that will be bused past Chain Lakes Elementary to get to South Point, because Chain Lakes is that capacity at this point. And the superintendent said that those students, any houses that were being constructed after December the 31st of 2022 would be bused down to South Point. So that's another point. We continue to talk about transportation, the construction that will be going on Thompson Nursery Road. And finally, the lack of the need for further apartments, or the apartments themselves, multifamily housing and townhouses amongst these single-family houses in our community. We look forward to working with the engineers. As I've said, they've been very receptive to some of our concerns with the single townhouses that will back up to Lake Ashton on the north side. And certainly those of us in Traditions, we're on the extreme east side where we have one-story villas. The fact that we'll have a retention pond there instead of 33 houses, we do appreciate. So once again, as we move forward with the growth within Winter Haven, once again, we ask all city commissioners, the planning people. Sean Byers has been very attentive to this also, and we appreciate that. But I think it's time now that we turn our attentions to other parts of the city for development. I think our section is at capacity, and we thank you for your considerations. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda. Savannah?
I'm actually for the next one.
Next one. Okay, I'll remember. Okay, I will close. Anybody else like to speak to this item, please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Reopen the city commission meeting. Commissioners, questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. On to 9B on your agenda is 02358. This is a revised request by KRPC Willowbrook. City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-23-58 revised. An ordinance of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, establishing the Willowbrook Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes, naming the district, describing the external boundaries of the district, describing the functions and powers of the district, designating 5 persons to serve as the initial members of the district's Board of Supervisors, providing notice of requirements, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, a severability clause, and providing an effective date. General location: the area covered by this request is generally located north of Martin Luther King Boulevard Northeast, southeast of State Road 544, east of Lake Smart and Willowbrook Golf Course, and west of Lake Fanny. The area covered by this request is 284.906 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, KRPC Willowbrook LLC has filed a petition with the city requesting to establish the Willowbrook Community Development District, or CDD, as permitted by Chapter 190.005 of Florida statutes. The CDD consists of approximately 284.905 acres. Based on the petition, 667 lots are envisioned. The CDD will consist of a 5-member board of supervisors having the authority to oversee the installation of infrastructure improvements, secure financing, and to levy non-ad valorem special assessments on future property owners within its boundary. Petitioner has submitted a statement of estimated regulatory cost. The statement indicates the total infrastructure costs are estimated at $30,274,423 and will be financed through non-ad valorem revenue bonds. Based on the statement, the state of Florida, Polk County, and the city of Winter Haven will not incur any costs relating to the establishment of the CDD, nor per Chapter 190 of Florida statutes will any debts incurred by the CDD become debts of the city, county, or the state of Florida. The CDD will not have any effect on the bonding capacity of the city, the county, nor the state. Water and sewer and reuse infrastructure within the CDD will be public. However, internal roadways, underground conduit, hardscape, landscape, amenities, and stormwater and drainage infrastructure will be maintained by the CDD. Since the first reading of this ordinance on October 9th of 2023, a revised petition was submitted increasing the total number of lots from 666 to 667 and to address an incorrect acreage for the CDD. The correct acreage is 284.905 acres, not the 132.944 acres provided in the original petition. Staff recommends City Commission approve ordinance 023-58 as revised. This is second reading. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
move approval of O-2358, second reading, public hearing.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve O-2358 on second reading. We'll close the City Commission meeting and open the public hearing. Public like to speak, please come forward, Savannah. You have, give us your name and address. You have 5 minutes.
Hi, I'm Savannah Hancock. My address is 517 East College Avenue, Tallahassee, Florida 32301. Just here on behalf of petitioner. If there's any questions, we can answer.
Okay. Any questions for the petitioner? All right, thank you. We do, we'll call you back up. Anybody else?
And Mr. Mayor, just so you know, the attachments to the fact sheet indicate that there are pre-filed testimony that was provided. I think we made reference to it, and staff has made reference to it in the fact sheet.
Okay, so noted. All right, I will close the public hearing, reopen the City Commission meeting. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. All right, Commissioners, you have in front of you a consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
That's long and, yes,
move approval of the consent agenda in its entirety.
thank you. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety, and this goes all the way to 10P.
16 items this evening.
16 items on consent agenda, so I will close the City Commission meeting and open a public hearing on the consent agenda. Anybody want to speak to any item on the consent agenda, please do so at this time. Please come forward. I see you raising your hand. Give us your name and address. Tell us what item you're out. You have 5 minutes.
My name is Gordon McGinnis. I live at 348 Niblick Circle in the subdivision called the Gates at Lake Region, which is directly across from the Country Club. So I want to have a question about 10A.
NA, okay.
I have no problem with the 10A thing, except that we're very familiar with the reuse water contract. We have a large reuse water contract at the Gates, which was just renegotiated last year. After the first, we had it for 5 years, then we just had it renegotiated a year and a half ago. Between the first large contract we had, ended in '21, and the new one, the city chose to revert back to EIC, they call it irrigation equivalent connections. So what you, at the water meter, if you have EICs, they are added at $5, $6 a EIC, so it adds a lot of money to the meter charge. Looking at this proposed one for the Country Club, I know they're phasing in the water usage over 4 years. They don't have to start right up front tonight or next spring. But it also if you read the proposed ordinance, it talks about EICs are a part of this contract. The EICs are not spelled out, how many there are. It goes into detail about the reuse, the usage of the water, but not the number of EICs. That makes a tremendous impact on the billing, tremendous, because equivalent irrigation contact, we have 100 units in our place. So you start with 100 and you add on, additional acreage and all that. And I forgot exactly how many we have now, but it's well over 100 now. For 5 years, we only paid the one meter charge, which is the proper thing to do, in my opinion. 1 meter charge for a large user negotiated contract with the city. And the city chose to revert back to what we did. So now, fairness is why I'm raising the issue. I think it's important to know how many EICs have the city determined as the equivalent EICs for this new contract with the city, with the Country Club of Winter Haven. Thank you.
Thank you. John, do you know the answer to that real quick?
I do
or-
not.
Gary, do you have that information with you this evening? Gordon, we can get that and follow back up with you. We've got your contact information. I know I do, so we'll gather that information and follow back up with you before the end of the week.
Okay, anybody else want to speak to any item on consent agenda? All right, go ahead. Well, I'm going to close the public hearing. We're open to city commission meeting. Tracy?
No, I'm okay.
Oh, okay. You ready for me to call the question here, huh? Okay. All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose like sign, motion passes. Okay, on to resolutions. 11A on your agenda is R2355. This is a request by Luxury Apartment Living LLC for final plat approval of the Evergreen West subdivision. City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-23-55, a resolution approving that certain plat entitled Evergreen West for filing and acceptance of dedications in accordance with Chapter 177 Florida statutes with specific conditions, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors and establishing an effective date. General location, subdivision is generally located 500 feet north of Havendale Boulevard along the east side of Idlewild Drive, northwest. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, Luxury Apartment Living LLC is requesting final plat approval for Evergreen West. This is a 2.1 acre subdivision, as the attorney noted, generally located near Havendale Boulevard along the east side of Idlewild Drive, northwest, and on the southwestern shore of Lake Idlewild, shown on your screen. It contains 5 building lots which contain easements for stormwater management and access. All potable water and sanitary sewer utilities will be owned and maintained by the city, while all drainage conveyances, stormwater management areas, and access easements will be maintained by the homeowners association. This was developed according to the requirements contained in the multifamily residential low-density R3 zoning district. The subdivision is consistent with the adopted neighborhood suburban density future land use. Subdivision will have an estimated taxable value of $2 million and will generate approximately $13,180 per year in city ad valorem revenues at the current millage rate of 6.59. The proposed subdivision is consistent with the comprehensive plan and all requirements of Chapter 177 Florida statutes for the platting of land. Staff recommends City Commission approve Resolution R23-55. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners? Commissioners?
I move approval for the resolution R-2355.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve R2355. I'll close city commission meeting, open a public hearing. Anybody from the public like to speak to this, please do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen city commission meeting. Commissioners, questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion passes. On to R2356, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed 27 million Winter Haven city bond, ad valorem bond. City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Yes.
Non-ad valorem bond. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-23-56, a resolution of the city of Winter Haven, Florida, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $27 million in aggregate principal amount of the city of Winter Haven, Florida non-ad valorem revenue bonds, Series 2023, for the purpose of financing and/or reimbursing the costs of the acquisition, expansion, design, construction, and equipping of various capital improvements of the city, including without limitation, improvements to the city's various parks, roads, recreational facilities, and water and sewer system, and paying associated transactional costs, covenanting to budget, appropriate, and deposit legally available non-ad valorem revenues to provide for the payment thereof, making certain covenants and agreements for the benefit of the owners of such bonds, authorizing certain officials and employees of the city to execute any document and to take all actions required in connection with the competitive sale, issuance, and delivery of such bonds, taking certain other actions which, with respect to such bonds, providing for severability and providing an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, Resolution R-23-56 authorizes the issuance of not to exceed $27 million in City of Winter Haven non-ad valorem revenue bonds. Proceeds from the sale of these bonds, together with funds on hand, will fund several projects as reflected in the fiscal year 23-24 budget. These include construction of a new recreation complex consisting of athletic and event fields, pedestrian facilities, docks, and parking facilities, the construction of a roadway extension that will provide multimodal trails, sidewalks, and lighting to support the roadway and associated infrastructure, and the acquisition of approximately 370 acres of land that will house a planned wetland reclaim recharge area, an operations facility, and an unplanned development area. In addition to authorizing the issuance of bonds and defining the capital projects, which I just noted, the resolution provides the following. It defines the city's pledge to budget, appropriate, and deposit non-ad valorem revenues in sufficient amounts to pay annual principal and interest payments over a 20-year amortization period. Defines in detail the administration of the bond process. It establishes the bonds will be issued in $5,000 denominations, defines other obligations including an annual audit, and establishes tests for the issuance of additional non-ad valorem revenue bonds. As stated, the bond proceeds will support the funding of several projects. The city will incur up to $27 million in additional debt to be paid from non-ad valorem revenues, which the city agrees to budget and appropriate each fiscal year that said bonds remain outstanding. Staff is recommending the City Commission approve Resolution R 23-56. A few additional comments, if I may, for the benefit of the audience and the Commission as well. One of these projects does include funding from Polk County. There will be $10 million that goes towards the redevelopment of Chain of Lakes Park. It will be offset in half of that by Polk County through the TDC, meaning that the city will be responsible for principal and interest on $5 million of that. The county will be responsible for principal and interest on the other $5 million, and that is laid out within a interlocal agreement that was approved by the commission just recently. Also within that interlocal agreement, there is a cash contribution from the TDC of $5 million to match an existing $5 million that the city had. So that total project by itself is $20 million, of which we are paying roughly 50 cents on the dollar. The Pollard Road Extension Project has about $9.5 million in grant money from the state of Florida. The $8 million that is lined up within this bond issuance is to offset the city's portion of that project. So again, paying a little less than 50 cents on the dollar. And the other project is the acquisition of the tract of land, the 370 acres. And for that, we already have $2 million set aside for that acquisition, plus a $2 million grant to go towards the initial development on that. I will say that with us this evening, we have Dwayne Draper with Bryant Miller Olive, who is part of our bond council, Jay Glover, who is with PFM, our financial advisors, them along with CJ and her team and members of other legal partners that have been part of this process, have been working on this since midsummer. Our budget reflects, the budget that was adopted reflects the debt service that will be incurred this fiscal year for this. I just want to publicly thank Dwayne and Jay and CJ for their work on this. John Murphy and his team have spent countless hours developing this as well. Last thing I'll say is that the city in May of 2023 went through our annual surveillance review with S&P for our credit rating. As you may recall, our credit rating was improved at that point from a AA- to a AA with a stable outlook. S&P did an additional surveillance just in the past few weeks in anticipation of this bond issuance. Their rating of the city of Winter Haven remained unchanged. So that improvement that was issued to us in May, even with the issuance of this additional bond, they kept that at that higher level. We had surveillance that was done by Fitch just this past week. They actually improved our rating. The rating stays the same. It's a AA-, but they changed our outlook from stable to positive in anticipation of the issuance of this. I think that is a testament to what we're doing financially, to the fact that we are leveraging these dollars with contributions from other sources. We have sound fiscal policies. We have strong growth. We have conservative operations And overall, we are in a good position for this issuance. So our team will stand for any questions that you may have.
Well, congratulations. I don't know if anybody saw the headlines tonight, but Winter Haven has now got a higher rating than the U.S. federal government. So there you go.
Yeah.
So after this year, my first year ends in December, maybe I'll try and go up to DC or something. MJ just said, please don't.
I got one question. Is this bond going to be taken down soon and by one person, or is it going to go to retail, or how's it going to get? And when are we going to get the money, first of all, and who's going to buy those bonds?
Mayor, commission members, Jay Glover from PFM, we're the city's financial advisor on this matter. The actual bond sale will take place on November the 29th. So assuming we get approval here today, an offering document will be released to the market later this week, outlining the bid process. And we sell these bonds via competitive sale. So any investment banking firm can put a bid in to buy the bonds on November the 29th, and they'll be awarded to the lowest true interest cost bidder. So whoever's offering to pay the lowest true interest cost will be awarded the bonds, and then they'll likely have those bonds placed with a variety of retail and institutional investors. So at this point, we don't know exactly who will buy the bonds, but they will be awarded to the lowest true interest cost offered. And then you'll get your money on December the 14th. So we'll close a couple of weeks after that. So everything should be wrapped up on December the 14th with the interest rate locked in on November the 29th.
Do you think no higher than 5.5? What are we looking at?
Oh, yeah, we'll be well below that. I think the resolution has a parameter that we cannot exceed at 5%, if I'm not mistaken. I suspect we'll be below probably 4.5% in today's market. So again, we're paying it back over 20 years on a tax-exempt basis. So, don't hold me to it, but around 4.5%, and with some good bids, I think we can be below that.
All right, we'll take that. Good job. All right, anybody else?
Mayor?
Yeah,
I'm just going to move for.
okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of Resolution R2356.
Thank you. Have a motion to approve R 2356. I'll close the city commission meeting, open a public hearing. Anybody from the public like to speak to this item, please do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Commissioners, questions, comments? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right, thank you. So we can build a road now. All right, R 2357, supplemental resolution R 2356. City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number R-23-57, a resolution of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, supplementing a resolution of the city adopted on even date herewith, and authorizing the award upon the satisfaction of certain parameters described herein of its not to exceed $27 million aggregate principal amount of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, non-ad valorem revenue bonds, Series 2023, for the purpose of financing and/or reimbursing the cost of the acquisition, expansion, design, construction, and equipping of various capital improvements of the city, including without limitation improvements to the city's various parks, roads, recreational facilities, and water and sewer system, and paying associated transactional costs, authorizing competitive bids and approving the forms of the official notice of sale and summary notice of sale pertaining to such bonds, making certain provisions and delegating certain responsibilities with respect to the official notice of sale, biddings and sales of such bonds, approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of a continuing disclosure certificate, approving the form of and the distribution of a preliminary official statement, and authorizing the execution and delivery of a final official statement pertaining to said bonds, appointing a paying agent and registrar, making certain covenants and agreements in connection therewith, authorizing certain officials of the city to execute any document or to take any actions required in connection with the issuance of said bonds, providing for severability and providing an effective date. Thank you.
City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, Resolution R 2357 supplements 2356, which authorizes the issuance of the not to exceed $27 million of City of Winter Haven, Florida non-ad valorem revenue bonds, Series 2023. Resolution 2357 provides the following. It authorizes the city's financial advisor, Public Financial Management, PFM, Jay, who you just met, to conduct a competitive sale of the bonds, and authorizes the city's chief financial officer, CJ Scott, to accept the most favorable bids for the purchase of the bonds. It establishes Computer Share Trust Company, N.A. as the paying agent and registrar. It approves the form, content, and distribution of the preliminary official statement, and it confirms that the city will comply with the continuing disclosure certificate and other applicable filings and disclosure requirements. There's no financial impact associated with Resolution R23-57. Staff recommends the commission approve R23-57. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Move approval of resolution R 2357.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve R2357. I'll close the city commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anybody from the public like to speak to this item, please do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen city commission meeting. One quick question, John. Does the mayor have to sign this?
Yes, we're going to have a pre-closing on December the 11th,
December.
prior to the city commission's regular meeting, and so you'll be asked to attend, I think it's at 5:30, if I'm not mistaken, just a little bit before the regular meeting. So yeah, you will have to sign
But
documents, Mayor.
the paper will be ready on the 11th.
Yes,
for you
sir.
to sign. Okay.
Yes. There is a document that you will need to sign tonight regarding a certificate of public meetings and the fact that you had no conflicts of interest and that this was all done in a duly called meeting. And that is a document that I believe the deputy city clerk has, and I don't know if she's circulated that to you already or not yet, but please sign that document before you leave tonight, after you voted.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign, motion passes. Okay. R2358, adopting the 2023 Urban Forest Management Plan. City Attorney, would you provide title only, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-23-58, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, making findings, approving and adopting the 2023 Urban Forest Management Plan, providing for severability, the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, I'm going to ask MJ to present this one this evening.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. For nearly 3 decades, Winter Haven has demonstrated its dedication to nurturing and conserving its urban forest by consistently earning the prestigious Tree City USA designation. It has also been honored with the Tree City USA Growth Awards, that's emphasizing its relentless effort to enhance its urban forest. Despite this impressive record, Winter Haven recognized the need for updated data to make informed decisions in regards to urban forest management. The city embarked on a comprehensive tree inventory in 2020, and that has laid the foundation for the development of a new urban forest management plan. This urban forest management plan is a comprehensive action plan that lays out a strategic path forward for addressing some of the key challenges facing the resilience and health of the urban forest asset moving forward. The plan focuses on 4 core goals: expanding capacity, improving tree management policies, community engagement, and data-driven asset management of the urban forest resource through planning and maintenance. Adopting the 2023 Urban Forest Management Plan via resolution will confirm the city's commitment to maintaining and improving the urban forest as a resilient resource for future generations. There is no fiscal impact associated with this item. Staff recommends the City Commission approve Resolution R-23-58.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
move for approval of Resolution R, I lost the resolution, 2358.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve R-2358. I'll close the city commission meeting and open the public hearing. Anybody from the public like to speak to this item, please do so at this time. Seeing none.
Mayor, I just offer a comment that I think a copy of that report has been provided to you if you haven't got, okay.
Yeah, we have it. We have it all here.
Mayor, I did see your, what you say, 1,000 trees?
100,000, I thought
A
it was.
million?
1 million trees within 3 years? Is that what I said?
Oh, my
I
gosh.
didn't see
I
that.
thought it
in
was
there.
100,000.
I just want you to know that's not in there.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
1,000 trees in 3 years. I've already talked to people. They're in favor, so everybody says, let's do it. Okay. I already closed the public hearing and reopened the city commission meeting. Anything else? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those like sign, motion passes. Okay, on to South Lake Howard Drive Supplement Local Area Program, the LAP agreement. This is R-2359. City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-23-59, a resolution approving a supplemental agreement between the City of Winter Haven, Florida, and the State of Florida Department of Transportation for roadway, sidewalk, and landscape associated with the Complete Street project on Lake Howard Drive from Avenue D Southwest to 15th Street Southwest, and any supplemental agreements thereof, and authorizing the city manager to execute on behalf of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, said local agency program supplemental agreement approved approved herein and any further necessary amendments thereto, repealing all resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, MJ has worked awful hard on this one as well, so I'm going to ask him to present it for you this evening.
Mayor and City Commissioners, in 2013, the Florida Department of Transportation awarded a $428,525 grant to the city for the purpose of funding a portion of improvements to pedestrian facilities along Lake Howard Drive between Avenue D Southwest and 15th Street Southwest. Design work started in early '21 and was completed in November of '22. In August of '23, one bid was received, and the cost for construction was $1,411,743. The city asked the FDOT for additional funding due to the bid responses being higher than expected. The current FDOT work program now allocates $1,519,343 towards construction. No city match is required unless the cost of the project exceeds the FDOT funding. To receive the additional funds from FDOT, the city is required to enter into a local agency program supplemental agreement. Resolution R-23-59 permits the city manager to execute the LAP supplemental agreement for the project. There will be no direct financial impact as a result of this request unless construction exceeds the maximum funding reimbursement amount provided by FDOT of $1,519,343. The project was bid by Hubbard Construction at $1,411,743. Should funding to offset the cost that exceeds the FDOT contribution be needed, those funds would come from the city's transportation fund. Staff recommends the City Commission approve Resolution R-23-59, authorizing the city manager to execute the FDOT local agency program supplemental agreement and take any other action necessary and appropriate related thereto.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just one thing to add. The MJ had mentioned the Hubbard construction bid of $1.4 million. That was part of the consent agenda that was approved earlier. It was item 10K, which was the award of contract to Hubbard Construction. So both of those are running parallel to each other.
Okay. All right, Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move for approval of Resolution 8-2359.
R-2359, okay, we have a motion to approve R-2359. I'll close the City Commission meeting and open the public hearing. Anybody from the public like to speak to this item, please do so at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, reopen City Commission meeting. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion passes. All right, on to ordinance first reading. There will be no votes tonight, but we can start the process. This is O-2355, request by Dundee Road Investors LLP. City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-23-55, an ordinance amending ordinance 11-03, the 2035 Winter Haven Comprehensive Plan by revising the future land use map series by amending the future land use on 3 parcels from industrial future land use to neighborhood support future land use, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. General location, 2400 Dundee Road. The area covered by this request is 27.35 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor Commissioners, Dundee Road Investors LLP is requesting the city amend the 2035 future land use map on 3 parcels. The property currently contains 21,718 square foot medical office. It's the Winter Haven Day Surgery Center. Petitioners intend to develop the subject property with an additional 66,000 square feet of medical office constructed in 2 to 3 phases. Staff's recommending that this be moved forward for second reading.
Thank you. All right, Commissioners, any questions or comments before we move on? All right, we will take this up on 1127. 12B on the agenda, O-2356, request by Dundee Road Investors LLP. City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-23-56, an ordinance amending Chapter 21 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida by rezoning 1 parcel from Industrial-Light I-1 zoning district and 2 parcels from Commercial Heavy C-4 zoning district to Commercial-Highway C3 zoning district, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. General location, 2400 Dundee Road. The area covered by this request is 27.35 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor Commissioners, this is a companion ordinance that deals with zoning. One thing I would add to what I said earlier, that the supporting water, sewer, and transportation infrastructure contains sufficient capacity to support both the future land use change and these zoning requests. However, a final concurrency determination will be made when the property receives site plan approval and is developed. This was heard by the Planning Commission. And that October 3rd, they voted to recommend approval of these requests, and no members spoke against it. Again, staff recommends approval of, in this case, ordinance 02356.
Commissioners, questions or comments? Okay. 12C, 02359, voluntary annexation of a parcel located at the southwest of the intersection of Old Bartow, Lake Wells Road, and Waters Road. City Attorney, would you read by title only, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-23-59, an ordinance extending the corporate limits of the city of Winter Haven, Florida, so as to include therein additional territory lying contiguous and adjacent to the present boundaries of the city of Winter Haven, Florida, describing said additional territory, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date. General location, a parcel generally located southwest of the intersection of Old Bartow, Lake Wales Road, and Waters Road. The area covered by this request is 19.29 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, Trio Tropical Farms LLC is requesting the city annex one parcel totaling 19.29 plus or minus acres. They're seeking annexation for the purpose of developing the subject property. It's a voluntary petition for annexation, which is the basis for this ordinance, is being processed and considered in order to comply with the requirements of Florida statutes. Accordingly, there's an exemption set forth that this applies, and a business impact estimate is not required as a result of this ordinance. Staff recommends City Commission approve ordinance 23-59.
Can we get a better map next time?
Yes, sir.
So we can see where this is, like a Google Earth or something? Is that it?
Yeah, well, it's probably a Google Earth. It's south of Lake Ashton, so Old Bartow, Lake Wells Road, where County Road 653 goes due south and then turns hard left to go eastbound.
Do we have our little yellow signs out there if we gotta drive out that way?
Eric, do we have any?
They were posted for planning commission, so they're probably still out there.
Okay. Okay, we'll take this up on 1127. All right, new business. This is certification of the November 7th, 2023 City of Winter Haven regular municipal election for the commission seat number 1 and the special municipal election for commission seat number 5. Tracy, you don't get to vote tonight?
I know.
You don't know? Okay.
She'll recuse herself on this item.
Yeah, on this item. John, you want to take this one, or T?
Let city manager do it.
And I'm going to hand off to Deputy City Clerk Latanya.
Okay, Latanya.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioner Mercer. As you very well know, the 2023 regular and special municipal election for the City Commission seats numbers 1 and 5 was held Tuesday, November 7, 2023. Seat number 2 currently is occupied by Mayor Pro Tem Birdsong, which is unopposed after the qualifying period and therefore considered elected by acclamation. Seat number 3 is currently occupied by Commissioner Yates, unopposed after the qualifying period, also considered elected by acclamation. The election results, the total number of ballots was 4,360, which includes the 3 unscanned provisional ballots received by the canvassing board at the November 9th, 2023 meeting. Seat number 1 candidates for the regular election, the votes received for Kim Davis was 1,997, and for Tracy Mercer, 2,241. Since one candidate received a majority of at least 50% plus 1 of the votes cast, a one-off election for the regular election was not necessary. Seat number 5 candidates are Jonathan Bush, votes received 1,417, Clifton E. Dollison, votes received 1,728, Tom D. Frejo, 1,191, Since no candidate received a majority of at least 50% plus 1 of the votes cast, a one-off election for the special election will be necessary. Canvassing board members on Thursday met on November 9th at 5:05 p.m. We did have a quorum consisting of Chairperson Densler, Mayor Pro Tem Birdsong, and Commissioner Yates. We met at the City Hall in the John Fuller Auditorium to certify the election. 3 provisional ballots were accepted, which were incorporated in the above referenced totals and certified as the final results. They also met to randomly select a race, seat number 1, and precinct number 325, the Simpson Masonic Lodge, for a post-election certification voting system audit. This post-election audit is required by law according to the applicable Florida Division of Elections Rules and Regulations. This audit will be held at the Supervisors of Elections Operations Center on Tuesday, November 14, 2023, at 10 a.m. The regular election candidate elected to seat number 1, to include those elected by acclamation, will be sworn in at the regular City Commission meeting on Monday, January 8th, 2024, at 6 p.m. There will be a one-off election on December 5th, 2023, between Jonathan D. Bush and Clifton E. Dollison to determine who will be elected to seat number 5. The candidate who wins the one-off election will be sworn in at the regular City Commission meeting on Monday, December 11th, 2023, at 6 p.m. All public notification requirements were met. There is no financial impact of this item. Staff recommends the City Commission to approve the certifications for the November 7th, 2023 regular and special municipal election.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
move approval of the certification of the November the 7th, 2023 City of Winter Haven regular municipal election for commission seat number 1 and the special municipal election for commission seat number 5.
All right, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I will close the city commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anybody would like to speak to any, to this item, please do so at this time. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. I guess there's only 2 of us to get to vote, so all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, these elections are certified. Congratulations, Tracy.
Yes.
4 more years. Okay, city commission liaison reports. Mayor Pro Tem Birdsong, why don't you lead us off?
All right, I'll lead off. Attended the General Pitchen meeting, attended a peace community meeting at Hearst Chapel, attended the Florida League of Mayors meeting in Auburndale, and state of the city, and that's it.
Okay. Tracy?
Attended the Leadership Winter Haven Lumini Social number 17, so you're 17, I guess. Main Street, I did the wine, chocolate, and cheese. Got to visit some of the places that I hadn't visited before. Fire Station number 4, the public meeting there. So that was interesting. It's going to be the same concept as Station 3. There were a lot of people there in the beginning. It kind of thinned out a little bit later. Did the State of the City at Theater Winter Haven 2023. It's a very good address by the City Commissioner and Assistant City Commissioner. A lot of things that are happening. That was the comments mostly of going out. I never realized Winter Haven had so many things going on at the same time, they said. Veterans Day observance at Lake Howard Heights. We had the VFW there also from Winter Haven. And I don't remember, it was 4,000 and something, 4,1 something. But they did a 21 gun salute. And I want to thank all the veterans. They consider about 10% of their population as veterans in there. So it was interesting, very interesting. So I presented the proclamation to
Thank you.
Lake Howard Heights.
Okay, so I had a bunch of stuff here, but I'll go quick. State of the City, very, very impressed. I'm going to start calling that the TMJ show. TMJ. TMJ is pretty good, you know, especially if you're trying to lose weight.
Mayor, you spoke at it as well, so you got to.
I don't count. No, excellent job, both of you guys and your whole team for putting that all together. Very impressive, and haven't heard nothing but good stuff from everybody that attended that TMJ show, so. Heart for Winter Haven Banquet. Got to present and introduce the winner, or Mr. Beatty on that, and I was glad to see the city manager was there, and of course Eric was there, and you guys got to see, and you were there, Tracy was there. So I mentioned all of you guys. I sent greetings from you, Mayor Pro Tem Birdsong. So really good night, and they raised a lot of money for a worthwhile cause. I also had an opportunity and had a meeting with Pastor Bainbridge. He's the new pastor out in Juanita, and he's wanting to get involved in the city. Met he and his wife. They're looking to do all kinds of things. They've got big church, bunch of grounds, all kinds of neat things, so they're looking to do some neat stuff. Also went into we have a butterfly garden. I don't know if y'all know that or not, right down here behind McDonald's off Pope Avenue, behind Highway 17. The Girl Scouts take care of it on a monthly basis, and they had me come down there. They know I'm a beekeeper, so I went down there and spent 20, 30 minutes with the Girl Scouts going through their whole butterfly garden. They were so proud, and by and large, they had it right. They knew how to do things the right way, so they had butterflies and bees everywhere, so it was kind of fun to see that. Of course, the wine, chocolate, and cheese, attended that. That's always one of my favorite events. Theater Winter Haven had their national conference, their statewide conference, and they had colleges from all over the country there. I saw LSU in Florida and FSU, and just didn't realize what a big deal it was for these kids that are in the theater to go there and get scholarships. And it's very competitive, and hats off to Dan Chesnica and his crew for pulling that off. And they rent the whole field house for 3 days, so it's a big deal for us. Also went out to Camp Margaritaville with Mayor Pro Tem Birdsong for the Florida League of Mayors dinner. Also went out to Legoland, the Winter Haven Academy. Tracy was there. We rode around and counted blocks and got to ride the little boat, the new boat thing out there at Legoland, which is pretty neat.
He's number one.
Huh?
You're number one.
Yeah, that's right. Habitat for Humanity had a luncheon, and I had a meeting called by the president of Habitat and a lot of their board members, and they are really looking for properties and are looking to do things here in Winter Haven. So we had a real good, long conversation, a meeting of the minds with Habitat for Humanity, and I got to meet who those people are. Spoke briefly at the Trail Town at the bike shop. Andy, good job. Had a crew out there and got everybody. Tracy walked out with a free helmet, and I got a free helmet. So,
Got that one too.
but proud of Winter Haven and our Trail Town status. Also went by the health fair and had my cholesterol checked. That's too high, so I'm trying to get my cholesterol down, but everything else is good. But that's always a good event for the employees, so, and they serve donuts there too, which is good. For people with high cholesterol, donuts.
There was fruit as well.
Well, there was some fruit, but
healthy
screw the fruit. We want the donuts. Yeah, that was really good for my cholesterol, so. TDC had a meeting, passed a big budget, off the clock over at Union Tap Room. And who went to me with that? Were you there? T was there. Yeah, we had a good time at the Union Tap Room. And last but not least, I wanted to offer condolences to Vanessa, who's not here tonight. Her father's passing. We're all thinking of her and praying for her. And I know she's not listening tonight, but we just want to wish Vanessa nothing but good wishes and, condolences and all that. So, on we go. So, all right, City Attorney, you got anything?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I share those condolences to the city clerk. Also, congratulations to Commissioner Mercer and to Mayor Pro Tem Birdsong and Commissioner Yates for their election to our commission. And I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Okay. City Manager?
Mayor Commissioners, I have a couple items this evening. First is what's on the agenda to discuss the November 22nd, 2023 agenda review session. That is the Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving, to see if the commission has interest in canceling that agenda review to accommodate any travel plans members of the commission may have. If there's a consensus, we can cancel that, but I will leave it to your discretion.
I think so.
Yeah, me too. It's right on. It's
Okay.
right on, thank you.
The next would be the December 25th regular city commission meeting, which happens to fall, of course, on Christmas, being on a Monday. If the commission is so inclined to cancel that meeting as well, we will make the necessary.
I want y'all to come and bring my gift.
Champagne. Yeah, I think you got
Yeah.
consensus to cancel that one too, so.
Okay, and that would also include the December 20th, 23 workshop agenda. There would no need to have that. Okay. Along those same lines, we do have a city commission meeting on December 11th. That will be a an interesting meeting in that we will have a new commissioner to swear in that evening, whoever wins the seat 5 race. We will also be recognizing the graduates of City University Class 2. We were also notified today that the city will be receiving recognition from the Florida City County Management Association on 100 years of council manager form of government that same evening. All that said, I would like to request your consideration for moving that meeting from this facility and holding it in the Normale Hall of the Florida Citrus Building to accommodate the number of people that would be in attendance, both for a swearing in as well as for that City U graduation.
Okay? You think that's necessary, huh?
Last year, that's what we ended up doing as well. That was Mr. Hur's final meeting with us, and there's 25 members within that City U class, and if they bring family members, you can see that that would overtake this room pretty quick.
Okay.
And it should be nice and festive in there because it's the Monday following the city employee Christmas party.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we will make the necessary notifications
Y'all
for
have any
that.
problem with that? You got any problem with that, Ian? Okay. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Two final things. Like to wish Christine Samuel and Mayor Dantzler the best of luck in the PEP fundraiser that is taking place this Thursday evening. PEP has been a longtime partner of the City of Winter Haven, doing great things for our education system. So I'm not sure what either of you are doing Thursday night, but your employees that are in attendance will certainly be cheering you on. So if the ELSA dress is coming back out, we'll be sure to get pictures. And then the final piece, there's a lot going on in Winter Haven. We certainly had a great State of the City address last week, and thank you for the feedback on that. Lots of projects, but one that I think we're really excited to see coming to, it's in that last 5% is the downtown projects. If you've seen Avenue D, if you happen to see it today, there's landscape in that area that was cut out. The pavered crosswalk is in there, I believe, and Andy can give me a nod. They're probably going to be paving that area tomorrow is what it's looking like, or within the next 2 days. Central Avenue will be paved this week, and getting that back all restored in advance of the Thanksgiving holiday. So I just want to tell you to, if you get down that way, just put an eye on that. A lot of landscape going in. It's just really looking good. My compliments to Andy and Angie and the entire team that's been working on that. It's a team effort, but I know that they've taken a brunt of the challenge with working with merchants and contractors and such. So it's nice to see that coming together. One more reason to be thankful this season. Thank you.
Deputy City Manager.
I just want to take a moment to congratulate Troy on his new role at the airport and wish him luck and look forward to working with him in that capacity.
Good job. All right, and Deputy City Clerk. Or nothing for there, okay. All right, emergency matters not received for the agenda. Motion to adjourn? Adjourn.